Hey there, everybody. It's your good pal Dustin back with another episode of Turn It Around. As always, I hope everybody had a wonderful Sunday. I hope you got to spend time with God, whatever way that looks like for you on a Sunday, whether it's going to church, whether it's just listening and singing along Christian music, reading your Bible, or watching Christian YouTube or TikTok content. Whatever way you spend time with God on Sunday, I hope you got to do it today, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week ahead. So we are on episode 95, 5 away from episode 100. And we are continuing our little series on how to discover God's will for your life. We are on part 5 of that. So I think there'll be 4 more parts after this one. Think that's right? Yeah, I think that's right. 4 more parts after this one, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the next thing that you can do to discover God's will for your life, other than the ones we've covered in the previous videos, is to seek godly input. So, what does that mean? You're probably wondering. It's like, that's kind of broad, isn't it? Well, yeah, kind of. Oh, excuse me. When you say seek godly input, you could mean prayer, seeking input from God Himself, reading the Bible, seeing if you can't find some input from that. Whatever, whatever way that phrase means to you, like I said, praying, reading the Bible, whatever. But in this case, we are talking about other Christians, because as Christians, we are meant to be in community with each other. We are meant to have godly mentors to help us with our walk with God. For some people, that's their deacon at a church. For some younger people, it's a youth pastor. But I believe this is talking about either people your own age or maybe a little older, maybe like 5 years or so. Maybe one that's much older, but you want people that are close to your age who aren't so far above your age that they can't remember what it was like, and of course having people your own age, they are going through a lot of the same things you are themselves. Now for some people, they have like 3 to 4 godly mentors at a time, and a lot of the articles I found say that's what's recommended, is to have 3 to 4 godly mentors that you can go to, talk about your problems, your struggles, what you need prayer for, etc. But it's also likely to get different viewpoints on questions you may have. So like I said, let me see if I can think of an example. Like, just for a silly example, if you go to your group of godly mentors one at a time, you ask them, what color is the sky? Well, one might say blue, one might say purple, one might say green, one might say red. Now, technically, except for the green, they're all technically right. The sky is blue during the day, it's kind of purplish black at night, and it is orangish red at sunrise and sunset. So they're all technically right, and they have, when you ask what, you didn't specify a time, so when you ask colors of the sky, one of them might have assumed you meant during the day, one might assume you meant during night, one might assume you meant during dusk or dawn. So that's just kind of a silly example, but that's the easiest one I could think of off the top of my head. So having different viewpoints on questions is important, because while they're all technically right, while they all could technically be right, they all might have something a little different than the others that will just add on to what you learn. So think of it this way. Hair in my mouth. We are all a composite of the people we spend the most time with, whether that be one other person or four. Me, I only have one good friend, not counting my mother or any family member, obviously. One good friend that I consider my best friend. He's basically my brother. I only have one person that I really hang out with a lot. Not as much as I'd like to, but a lot. I need more people. This is another reason why finding a church home is important, because that is where you will find those people. Now, while having those people is important, you need to choose them carefully. You need to choose carefully the people you spend the most time with. Being friendly, showing love to everyone, that's what God calls us to do when He says to love our neighbor as ourselves. We can be friends with people, but with everybody, but the people that we would consider our inner circle need to be chosen carefully, because God also wants us to choose those people carefully, because He wants us to spend the most time with godly people. And the best place to find godly people, you would think, is a church. So that is why having a church home is important. That is where you will find your godly mentors, where you can get your godly input. If you surround yourself with godly people / advisors, they can help you discern God's will for your life. Alternatively, if you surround yourself with people who are far from God, your ability to discern His best for your life will be diminished. Not to say that you still can't find out what God's will for your life is doing that, but it will be far less likely, or might take a lot more time. Again, that's not to say you should drop your friends that either aren't Christians or have kind of fallen to the wayside. No, that's not what I'm saying here. Like I said, we should be friends with everybody. We should love everybody. The point is that you need to find some people to surround yourself with that are close to God, that are godly, because those are the people who will help you in your walk. They will pray for you, and they can help you discern God's will for your life. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety." Think about, we'll just go with the President of the United States, or any leader, through time. They all tended to have a close group of advisors. My favorite, because I love fantasy, King Arthur. He had his Knights of the Round Table. They were his closest advisors. They were his inner circle. Of course, including Merlin. So every leader has that inner circle, that group of advisors that helps them either come to a decision or helps them, decide something. Whether it be to enact a new law, whether it be to go to war, whether it be to impose more taxes, whatever it is, leaders have a group of people to help them make those decisions. Most of them do not make the decision on their own. Now, there are examples of times when leaders have done that and it didn't go well. You need differing viewpoints. You need that one person that's going to question every decision you want to make you look at the bigger picture. Because if you only look at one path, you are laser focused. You are tunnel vision onto that path, and you might not see the potential deviations that might go on that path, whether they be good or bad or neutral, whatever. You do not see the various pathways that can branch off from that decision. We should seek the church whenever its doors are open, because the church is designed to help you with discerning God's will for your life. And the more you involve yourself within your church community, the more likely it will be that you will find those godly men and women who can help you discern God's will for your life. You're unlikely to find those people on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram or whatever. I'm not saying that you can't, but going to a church makes it that much more likely, because then you are surrounded by people who are supposed to be godly, people that you can interact with in person, so you can get to know and see if they really walk the walk. God will reveal everything in His time. The more you involve yourself in the church, whether it is going to Sunday school and Sunday service, volunteering for a church community outreach, or any other event your church might hold that you can be involved in, whether it's just going to or helping out with, whatever. But the more you do that, the more God will reveal to you the people that He wants to be in your life as your godly friends and advisors. God tends to do things subtly. I wish He would just put a neon sign over the person and say, this guy or this girl right here, this one. Yes. God doesn't tend to do that. So we again need to keep our eyes and ears open and our hearts open so that we can hear God's words when He reveals those people. Seek those people out. Ask them to help you and be accountability partners. Tell them what you are struggling with and what you need prayer for, so that they can start praying for you, that God would give them the words to say to help you in finding God's will for your life. Because at the end of the day, those godly mentors, those godly friends and advisors, they might be closer to God than you are. They might have an easier time hearing God's words and interpreting God's signs than you are. Because if you're like me, I don't do well with subtlety. It just doesn't click in my head for whatever reason. I just don't think I'm wired to understand subtlety. I understand it, but to pick it out, I guess I should say. But those godly friends and advisors might be different. They might be able to do that. They might be so close to God that it might only take them one time of praying for those words to help you for them to get those words. So at the end of the day, finding a church home is important, because there is where you will find those godly friends, those godly mentors, those godly advisors who will give you godly input and help you to discover God's will for your life, because God never intended for us to do everything alone. As always, I thank you all for being here. I thank you for watching my videos. I thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, your shares if you share the video. If you do like my videos, then please do like and share and subscribe so that hopefully one day YouTube will see that people are liking my videos and they'll be like, let's put this guy's videos on people's recommended pages because obviously people like these videos. That's just how YouTube works, and I want my messages to get out to more people. So again, if you like what I'm doing, please like and share and subscribe. And as always, my friends, remember that I love you, God loves you, and please remember to love yourselves and those around you. Till next week, my friends. Bye.